Hello, my little friends. It is Monday, and I know this is kind of late to be reading this. Got a little busy today trying to figure out a whole bunch of stuff with Seesaw and YouTube and all the things and Study Island and sheesh Louise, it was a lot. So normally I come to you guys and read to you this chapter without anybody else here. I get a little quiet time for just a little while and I'm able to read with no distractions. Well, that's not the case today. Emma is in the kitchen working on a art project of some sort she came up with. And Carson is chewing on a piece of plastic corn right here in the playroom. So I've got my bag of yogurt bites to hopefully help keep him quiet for the next however many minutes it takes to read this chapter. All right, so you'll remember at chapter 12 on Friday, we realized that someone else had been writing in Auntie Sarah's journal. Tiffany and Annabelle Selp, as they're calling themselves, noticed that the handwriting was a little different, and someone added in a section about going to the attic. So they think that's where they need to go next. Okay, so chapter 12 is called "The Dolls Go Visiting." Annabelle and Tiffany were not able to go to the attic right away, of course. They knew they would have to plan such a trip carefully. "I don't even know where the attic is," said Annabelle. "You don't?" said Tiffany. Annabelle shook her head. "I've barely left my house, you know." "Well, an attic is always upstairs somewhere," said Tiffany wisely. "Somewhere above this floor?" "Probably, or it could be at the back of this floor, but it wouldn't be downstairs." "How are we ever going to convince our parents to let us go to the attic?" asked Annabelle. "We could just say we're going on another exploration. We don't have to say exactly where we're going." "Oh, that doesn't seem quite right. Besides, we're still in trouble for coming home late the last time." Tiffany scrunched up her face. She gazed across the room at the Barbie camper. She could just see Uncle Doll sitting in it, staring at the ceiling, and Barbie sat nearby, staring at nothing. "Well, I'll think of something," said Tiffany. "Anyway, I guess I better go home now. I'll see you tomorrow night, Annabelle." "Maybe my family can come over to your house tomorrow night," said Annabelle brightly, "since we missed our visit with you." The next morning, the moment Papa announced that the coast was clear, two things happened at once. Uncle Doll scrambled down the step stool and headed for the Barbie camper, and Annabelle said, "Mama, could we visit the fun crafts tonight? We didn't get to go before." "Because you were in doll state," said Bobby gleefully. "And we don't want to be rude. Last night Tiffany asked me again when we're going to come over." Annabelle didn't mind bending the truth a little bit. Mama hesitated and hemmed and hawed and cleared her throat a couple of times, but finally Annabelle convinced her and Papa to go to the fun crafts. Nanny decided to stay behind with baby Betsy, which Annabelle thought was all right. But she was determined that Uncle Doll would not miss out on the fun, so she paid him a visit to the camper. "Please, please, please, you have to come with us tonight, please," she said to her Uncle Doll, who was lying on a lounge chair outside the camper. It's a picture of her trying to get him to come. "I really want you to come. It'll be fun. You like Tiffany. I know you do. And you won't have to talk to Mama or Papa very much, okay?" In the end, Uncle Doll agreed, very crossly. Annabelle was thrilled. She couldn't wait to see the Fun Crafts house. And she had an idea about the attic that she wanted to discuss with Tiffany. That night, the dolls waited until Kate and the Palmers were asleep. To Annabelle's relief, the captain was not in Kate's room, and so the moment Papa announced that the coast was clear, Annabelle scrambled for the stool. She and Bobby and Uncle Doll started down. "Travel safely," called Nanny, who stood at the edge of the parlor propping up baby Betsy. "Right-o," replied Papa, as he and Mama made their way down the top step. Annabelle landed on the first floor and helped Bobby and Uncle Doll down. She put her finger on her lips and Bobby nodded. He knew they must be absolutely silent. Then Bobby reached up and took the flowers Mama was carrying. When everyone was safely on the floor, Annabelle and Uncle Doll led the way across Kate's bedroom. The dolls ran to the nearest wall and slid along it, facing into the room until they reached the door. So there's them all up against the wall. Then Annabelle turned and peered into the hallway. She saw no shining eyes. She heard no rumbling purr, nothing but darkness and quiet. Holding Uncle Doll's hand, She ran to Nora's room as fast as she could, her family close behind. At Nora's doorway, Annabelle stopped short, her heart pounding. She had a horrible feeling when she peeked around the corner, she would find herself just staring directly into the captain's face. But she knew that was silly. She had found that the things she actually worried about rarely happened. But when bad things did happen, they took her by surprise. Annabelle marched boldly into Nora's room and gasped. There in the glow of Nora's nightlight was the captain. Don't you pull that table off. No. You go play with some. Yeah, you go play with something else. Yeah. Annabelle marched boldly into. Oh, we already read that. And there were Dad, Funcraft, and Tiffany dancing from side to side in front of the captain. The dolls stiffened. They watched as the captain shot out a paw to try to catch Dad, and he dodged it. Annabelle let out a tiny screech. Tiffany looked up when she heard this, and the captain's paw nearly came down on her head, so the Funcrafts are kind of messing with him right now. But she leaped out of the captain's reach, giggling. "Silly cat," she cried. Then, "Hey, everybody, the dolls are here." Cringing, Annabelle glanced at Nora and saw that she was sleeping soundly. Then she looked around the room for the Funcrafts' house. There it was, on the floor next to Nora's bed, pink and white like an enormous plastic birthday cake. Annabelle realized she was looking at it from the side. The back was open and furniture lay strewn about amidst odd pieces of Nora's clothing. Several farm animals and a scattering of Legos extending from the back of the house was a pink stone terrace with a shallow pool of dark liquid in the center. Ooh. Here's a picture of the captain messing with Annabelle and Dad. Carson, are you trying to eat my little table? Look at that picture. You see that big kitty? Look at that big old kitty. Got some sharp teeth, doesn't he? Look at that big old kitty. What are you doing? Here. What you play with this? Here you go. Oh, yeah. You got it? Nora's handiwork, Annabelle guessed. Grape soda, maybe. Ugh. She peered in round the front. 4 windows, one upstairs and one downstairs, on each side of the house, framed the 2 tall white columns, between which was the front door and above it a balcony. Annabelle was fascinated by the house, but the captain demanded her immediate attention. He was crouched between Annabelle and the house. In fact, he was between Annabelle and the rest of the room. "Maybe we should leave," Annabelle whispered to Bobby. But Tiffany turned then and called, "Come on in. Don't worry about the captain. He won't bother you. He just likes to play. He never catches us." "Well," began Annabelle. "Hello, welcome," said Mom Funcraft, waving as she sloshed across the patio. "Let me get him out of your way." She turned and dashed into Nora's closet. The captain tore after her, but he didn't fit through the mostly closed door, so he stuck his paw through the crack and batted at Mom. He couldn't reach her, though, and Annabelle was and Annabelle could hear her laughing. Isn't she something?" said Dad, beaming at his wife. Then, come in, he said to the dolls. Annabelle didn't know what to say. She and her family huddled in the doorway. Tiffany approached them. "Really, don't be afraid of the captain. I promise he's just playing." From the closet came the sound of a scuffle and then more laughter. Tiffany ignored it. "Why don't you go play with Bailey?" she said to Bobby. Bobby looked towards the closet. "I don't know." At that moment, Uncle Doll stepped hesitantly into Nora's room. He looked from the captain to the Funcraft's dream house and back to the captain. Then he turned and looked behind him into the dark hallway. Annabelle could see how nervous he was. "Uncle Doll," she started to say, but Uncle Doll had begun to run. Not into the dark hallway where he would have had to make the long trip back to Kate's room himself. Instead, he was dashing across Nora's floor, heading for the safety of the dream house. The captain turned and saw him. The next thing Annabelle knew, her uncle was clamped between the captain's teeth. "Uncle Doll!" she shrieked. The captain leaped onto Nora's bed. The dolls and the Funcrafts stared. For several long, horrible seconds, they watched as the captain shook his prize. Then Papa Doll tore into Nora's room and began jumping up and down. He waved his arms in the air. "Captain! Oh, Captain!" he shouted. Okay, so up here on the top of the bed, you can see Uncle Doll in the captain's mouth. And then down here on the floor beneath the bed, you see Papa Doll trying to get the captain's attention. Captain, oh Captain, he shouted. And not one single doll told him to keep his voice down. Captain, Papa called again. The captain stopped shaking Uncle Doll. He looked at Papa, then jumped to the floor where Uncle Doll tumbled from his mouth. So Uncle Doll's free. Instantly, the captain snatched up Papa and ran under Nora's bed. So the captain dropped Uncle Doll, snatched up Papa Doll now, and ran. Mama fainted. In the confusion, Dad Funcraft slid Mama Doll out of the doorway, and the dolls and the Funcrafts gathered around her. But Annabelle kept her eye on the captain, and she was the only one who saw him streak through the doorway, Papa dangling from his mouth, and disappear down the hallway. Uh-oh, said Annabelle, and everyone turned to look at her. So that was what was happening over on that page. See, on this page over here, you've got the other people looking, and they just can't believe it. The Funcrafts tried to act like the captain wasn't a big deal, but he kind of ended up being it. Uncle Doll was trying to get from the hallway to the doll's house as quickly as he could, and he couldn't get there in time. And he got snatched. But it was kind of nice of Papa Doll to go out there and kind of sacrifice himself for him and get the captain's attention, even though now he's in trouble. So be interested to see how that works out tomorrow. So what do you say, Carson? Show everybody our messy playroom. Can you wave? Can you wave? Say no, but I'm going to snatch this table down. Oh, we made it. I wasn't sure if we were going to. And I'm almost out of yogurt bites. So you guys make sure you head on over to Seesaw today to check out Miss Hawkins' Magical Monday video. Should be working now if it wasn't working earlier for you guys. And I'm working on getting Miss Strum's Masked Singer video back up. It wasn't working, but should be good to go here shortly. So hope you guys are having a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.